All right, guys, exercise time again here. So one of the biggest concerns we see all the time, lower back pain, 92% of our population will have it at some point in your life. And so it's not typically a matter of if or when. And so one of the ways that we can help prevent, number one, number two also, recover and ensure that it does not happen again is our core strength. And so 3 simple exercises that we love to teach here on a regular basis for core strengthening. Specifically going to be maybe more related to this whole premise called sway back, which sway back, what that would mean is that would mean actually way too much curve in your lower back. When we look at our spine from a side profile, there should be a series of 3 curves. Your neck and your lower back go in the same direction, the middle back go in the opposite direction. What's neat about those curves, they all should measure somewhere between 40 and 45 degrees. And what's been proven by physics and engineering, that is the strongest structure in the world that we build our bridges, our dams, any significant weight bearing structure, 40 to 45 degree curve. So what a surprise, God knew what he was doing when he designed that. The challenge is most of us lose those or don't have those, or we increase that. So common people we see this in, typically women. It's very, very common to see this in women. You guys have this amazing blessing of carrying children, being pregnant, right? And so your bellies tend to go really far that way, which pulls that way. Especially the more vertically challenged we are, the shorter, the further out we go, the more that curve will increase. Also, women commonly, we see lots of cheer, gymnastics, and that can be men too, but definitely any sports where we do lots of hyperextension, overextending our lower back, we can see this. And then lastly, anybody that really has lots of sitting or a desk job, which is most of America now, unfortunately. And what we tend to see with that is we kind of get this whole, your standard American posture, tech neck type thing. We lose the curve in our neck, our head creeps forward, so then we round and roll these shoulders forward. Well, now I feel like I'm gonna fall, so what do? Is I shove my hips and pelvis really far forward, tighten these hip flexors up a little bit, and I kind of get stuck in this posture. And so obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit. I'm not trying to say we all look like Quasimodo per se, but that is a very common posture that we tend to see a lot here. And so strengthening our core is a way to combat this. And specifically, if you're told by your doctor or your chiropractor that you have too much curve in your lower back, these are going to be 3 simple, easy exercises to help complement your care. And as always, what we always want to do, teach you to get well faster, stay well longer, and need us and every other doctor less. So let's jump into it. So first exercise, pretty familiar one here, not everybody's favorite, but we're gonna go down on the floor. It's just gonna simply be a plank. And there's a couple of ways that we can do this, but how we love to teach it here is first, what we're gonna do is you're gonna always make sure your elbows are right under your shoulders. We don't wanna overextend too far out or too far under in one way. We wanna make sure those elbows are right under that shoulder, trying to get that 90-degree angle there. And then you can do that in one of 2 ways. You can either go on your knees if it's more of a beginner or your core is weaker or you're recovering from something significant, just on our knees and just trying to hold basically our spine in a neutral position. That's really the key with this. Is what we want to do is we want our spine to stay neutral. We're not trying to overextend or overflex and put our spine compromised. We want to work to hold it in a neutral position and let gravity or something work to pull us out of that. Where I'd love to see most of us go or be able to get to is actually extend and put our weight up on our toes and then weight on our elbows there. And again, not letting our belly sag too much or not pushing our hind end too far in the air, but staying good, neutral there. And really thinking of pulling your belly button to your spine. So, number 1, simple, easy core, okay? 30-second hold is where we want to build up to or start. And then once we get there, we'd love to see you be able to get to at least a minute of holding that position. If you want to extend it and make it more challenging from there, you can actually go up on hands instead of elbows. And then lastly, another way to do that is there's such thing as a weighted plank where you put some sort of weight on your back there. But those are all going to be builds that we would want to do to get to that. But simple, easy, plank. Number 1. Number 2, bird dogs, all right? Those of you that have hunted before, you're familiar with a bird dog, right? Bird dogs typically point. And so that's going to be a position we're going to get to. What we do is we're going to get on our hands and knees, okay? Maintaining those 90-degree angles of our joints are going to be important. That reduces stress on our joints and we maintain that angle there. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here, hands and knees, okay? And this is going to be more of a movement-based exercise. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to extend the opposite leg and opposite arm outward. And so essentially what you're doing is you are pointing like what a dog would do, right? So when a dog's running through the weeds, it sees a bird, it stops and it points at it to let the hunters know it's there. You're doing that, okay? And you're just gonna work again to hold that position for 30 seconds. Once you do that with one side, obviously switch and do the opposite. Again, if you want to go more advanced, we can take arm to elbow and then extend and go back out. But bird dog, just simply holding that position there. If you want to do that extension, bring it in and then back out. Instead of instead of doing 30 seconds there, you'd probably want to do more of like 10 to 12 reps per side there would be our goal. But again, let's start with just hold for 30 seconds, building our way up to a minute, and then we can increase the intensity by doing more of a movement base there. Last but not least, on our back, all right? Actually pull that out of there. On our back, and so this is gonna be what we'll call dead bug. With dead bug, I think of like the cartoons growing up, like the ladybugs would die and their arms and legs would go up. Essentially, that's what we're gonna do, okay? So you're gonna lay on your back here. And then the key with this exercise or strengthening things specifically is you wanna focus on your lower back, maintaining contact with the ground. So not having that curve be to where your back is arched. You shouldn't be able to get your hand under your back. It should be flat against the ground there. So that's gonna be the key position we wanna think of. And then what we're gonna do with this is you're gonna bring your legs up and get that 90-degree angle there at your hip to that. And then you're gonna bring your arms straight up as well. And again, kind of laying there like a bug when it dies on the cartoons. What we do is we just hold that position again for 30 seconds. A couple cues to think about. Again, think of belly button being pulled down to our spine. Or another way we can think of it is I'm pulling my ribs to my hips as well, but contracting that core. Once we're able to hold this for 30 seconds to a minute, we can also increase the intensity by alternating. Opposite arms and legs extend, come back to center. Opposite arms and legs extend, back to center. When we do that, okay, do not do that in a way that your back turns or arches or comes up at all, okay? Only go as far as you're able to go to where your lower back maintains that contact with the floor. So, last but not least, dead bug. So there it is, 3 exercises: plank, bird dogs, dead bugs. 3 really simple but easy things for us to do on a very regular basis. My recommendation is that you should strengthen or work on your core at least 3 to 4 days per week. Specifically, you got the individual instructions there with it, but 3 to 4 days per week, I'd love to see you do those to help strengthen that core, stabilize that lower back, and help ensure that curvature stays at a good, healthy position there. That way, you can work to reduce the frequency that it's necessary for yourself to be adjusted. Let's reinforce those good, healthy patterns that we're helping teach and train and encourage our body to do. So do it. As always, like, subscribe, come back, watch for more healthy habits that we can do to help need us less as well as any other time. Thank you.